Everyone relax. You are back in the video store with me, Charlie Clausen, joined once again by Guy Davis as we make our way through the sci-fi, I've forgotten already,
Oeuvre.
of Steven Spielberg.
Body of work.
Body of work. We are at episode 2, stage 2. So we've discussed Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. You can go back to episode 1 if you want to listen to that. Today, we'll be discussing AI, artificial intelligence, and Minority Report. You do always have to say AI, artificial intelligence, because if you just put AI into your search engine, you'll never get to the film. This is 2001, so it's been, what,
It's been 20 years.
20 years since
E.T.
since he last dipped his toe into, well, as we said in episode 1, we're going to ignore Jurassic Park, but since he dipped his toe into sci-fi. Artificial intelligence, which was a project being developed by Stanley Kubrick for a number of years, who then handed it over to Steven along the lines, said something along the lines of, hey, I think this is much more in your wheelhouse than mine. So the debate around this film has always been about, well, what parts belong to Spielberg and what parts belong to Kubrick?
Yeah, and is it too Kubrick for Spielberg, or is it too Spielberg to be faithful to Kubrick? All that kind of stuff.
Okay, as a cinephile, if you had to broadly describe the styles of both Kubrick and Spielberg, what would you say is their different approaches to filmmaking?
I'm not a huge Kubrick guy, but I would say that his defining characteristics are very much precision, formality, a kind of chilliness.
Coldness.
Yeah. But and
almost detached.
Yes, and Spielberg, you would say, is kind of the opposite.
Warmth.
Yeah. I mean, they're both incredible technicians. They both, have great command of, cinematic grammar. They know how to use the tools extremely well, and they're always interested in furthering their use or their expertise of those tools. But yeah, their worldviews, at least based on their bodies of work, seems to be kind of different. But and as a result, you get something like. Are we going to have to call it AI, artificial intelligence?
No, you can call it AI from now on.
Just call it AI.
I'm just saying, if people want to search to find the film or to join this discussion, AI, artificial intelligence.
You covered your ass earlier. Now we can just call it AI. That's good. I think that what makes AI so interesting and what has given it maybe a lot of staying power is the tension between these two, or the tension between them, but also the points of commonality as well, perhaps.
Yes.
Because I think when this first came out, a lot of people didn't know what to make of it.
Yes.
I think they recognized this is really interesting.
Well, so the plot is basically in a world that has been flooded. Climate change has reached a certain point. People are sort of sequestered into little townships, and androids exist. And one particular android called David has an experimental child android to be given to grieving parents.
Yeah, well, essentially, it's the future and everything's fucked. Yeah. There's been a lot of restriction about who can have children because there is limited resources. And as a result, some enterprising company says, why don't we make artificial children that don't need to eat or that don't take up resources? But, there's clearly that longing that parents have for
Childless
love and
couples
attachment.
And people who have lost children can have a child robot, which of course raises all kinds of ethical questions. And that's where I think some people are like, oh, that's Kubrick. Yeah, that's Kubrick. But apparently no. So the start and the end of the film feel very Spielbergian in the sense that it's like, there's aliens and it's kind of like sort of more hopeful and stuff. But apparently no, the writer that Kubrick hired to write the treatment said, no, those elements were very much Kubrick. Yeah. The flesh fair, the more darker elements.
And the stuff in Rouge
Spielberg.
City as well. Yeah, that's more Spielberg. That's where Spielberg had more of a hand. Which is pretty interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And okay, so my experience, I saw this at the movies when it came out and was like, did not care for it. But I must say, on a rewatch, I thought this is a fantastic film. Apart from the last 30 minutes or so, it goes on a bit too long, but I think everything up until the aliens.
Well,
but you know what? Having said that, it's still satisfying. I feel like they could have got to that, Final Fantasy dream of David a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But everything prior to that is really, really good.
It is. Want to make a correction or interpretation, perhaps? A lot of people think that the beings at the end are aliens. What they are is actually like the ultimate incarnation of AI.
Right. Is that what they are?
Yeah, they're basically, I think they're robots, essentially, or they're artificial intelligence sort of made what's the word I'm looking for? Not manifest, but brought to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
They kind of look like...
Because they look like aliens. Because they look like Spielberg's Close Encounter aliens, don't they?
A little bit. They're sort of these thin, almost formless kind of like humanoid-looking things. They remind me a lot of, if you grew up Catholic in the 80s, a lot of Antioch artwork, like religious imagery and artwork, was very similar, where it was just like kind of genderless figures that are long and thin. It's a very uninspired character design.
I grew up Catholic in the 70s. I just got hit.
Yeah. You're lucky. You're one of the lucky ones. But the thing that really holds up, again, and this is a common theme with all Spielberg's films, is the visual effects. Like the use of CGI and the integration of practical effects and CGI is fantastic. Like, it holds up 100%. This film could come out now and you wouldn't know.
There are aspects of that, certainly. But there are others. I think this is a bit 2001. We are at the early stages of integrating it, but Spielberg is kind of at the forefront of it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if you looked at other movies from this era that had a lot of CG in it, you could definitely see it's colored outside the lines in some ways. This is a lot more precise.
I think though that he's not going full CG. Like, there's still a lot of practical stuff, like a lot of vehicles and things like that are practical, and so that works a lot better. And a lot of animatronic robots. There are some that are full CG, and you can tell those. But I do like it's kind of a nice integration of CGI and animatronics.
Yeah, but
Stan Winston, right?
Stan Winston had a lot to do with it. Yeah, absolutely.
One of the weirdest cameos you'll ever see is the Chris Rock android at the Flesh Fair. That feels real out of place. It's a bit like Prince's music in '89 Batman. It's like, oh, I get it. Chris Rock is a cultural icon at this point. We've got to put him in the film, but it is so distracting.
There are a lot of aspects of this movie that are very 2001 for better and for worse. Absolutely. I mean, I say this with all due respect and affection to the late, great Robin Williams. There were times when Robin could be a little much or a little distracting. And
now, apparently that was a Kubrick element.
The whole Doctor Who thing?
Yeah.
Because he predated Google, or this is almost like a futuristic version of Ask Jeeves instead. Yeah. But there's this entity in the movie called Doctor Who that is basically the repository of the world's knowledge. You go there, you ask it questions, and it gives you answers. It's Google, essentially. But it's also a bit of an Einstein-looking animation voiced by Robin Williams, and one gets the feeling that Steven said, you can give us a little bit of Robin, but also, stick to the script and stick to what we need done here. So there's bits in it that feel very kind of like Robin doing his shtick, and that feels very 2001, as does the Chris Rock thing. By the way, according to Wikipedia, as we always like to say, never steers us wrong, Jerry Seinfeld, the first choice for that comedian robot who gets demolished at the Flesh Fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I don't know why either side...
What's the deal with humans? Why do they want to destroy us?
What's so artificial about this intelligence? God, yeah, I mean, as with a lot of Spielberg stuff, a lot to sort of talk about in this. I mean, we could talk about it in a linear fashion, but I mean, this one in particular is so many sort of offshoots and interesting branches and things like that.
Well, if we say that Close Encounters and E.T. was a lot about family life, divorce, a child feeling estranged or lonely, then what is the subtext of this film?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm wondering when Spielberg actually became a parent, because he talks about this a lot, about how his sense of wonder and empathy and all that kind of stuff really magnified when he became a parent. I don't think he was a parent about the time of E.T.
Well, definitely not in Close Encounters, because Ray gets on the ship.
That's the thing. Yeah, he says that Richard Dreyfuss would, if he was remaking it, even 10, 15 years later, Richard Dreyfuss never would have got on the ship.
Yeah,
and I think he didn't change that for any of his director's cuts of Close Encounters, did he?
No.
Yeah, but it's interesting. We talked about the wonder that was very much apparent in Close Encounters and in E.T. You cut to 15, 20 years later, and there's not a cynicism, but there's a bit of a darkness in AI, both in AI and Minority Report.
There's an underlying feeling of exploitation through the whole film. Like the way that the androids are objectified and abused. And even in simple scenes, like when David's human brother wakes up from his coma and comes back home and is such a
little
prick.
shit.
But that scene by the pool where all the friends are standing around and poking his skin and it looks so real. Like I mean, he's an android, but it's so emotive because you're just like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
And it's just exposing how ugly human beings are.
Well, have you ever seen like footage of, you'll have, say, influencers or whatever, and one of them's like, hey, we got a robot from Boston Dynamics, and they start kicking the shit out of it. It's like, and of course the robot can't feel it. It's like you're kicking the shit out of your blender or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, guys. I don't think it's not so much that you're kicking the shit out of an inanimate object, but more like, we've got the opportunity to hurt something with impunity. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, there's definitely more cynicism in AI and Minority Report. I was thinking about, there's a line that Jude Law's character has when I think it's very much articulates kind of the things of the film. He's talking about why human beings don't like, or why they fear and despise mechas or robots or artificial intelligence or whatever. I think he said something like, we remind them of their mortality. We'll be around when they're not. That's why they hate us. All this kind of stuff. Yeah, I found that really interesting. Something that really hit home as well.
It's interesting, like a little sidebar. But I got into an argument with Claude the other day. I was just putting together some notes for something I was working on, and I said, I said compiling this, and then I'm just going to make a little joke about this. And Claude pushed back, and Claude was like, happy to do those notes for you, Charlie, but that joke isn't funny, and it was like a dirty joke. And I was like, it's so fine, Claude, include it. And Claude was like, no, I think you can joke about certain things, but that's probably not fun. And I was like, Claude, you don't get to tell me what I said. First of all, comedy is subjective, and I think this is funny. Include it. And Claude pushed back, and I was like, no, what Claude said to me was like, personally, I don't find it funny. And I was like, how can you personally not find it funny? You are not a person.
You have no personality.
So after this exchange of 5 or 6, Claude was something like, okay, Charlie, I'll include it. I'm like, thank you, Claude. But I was angry, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, I had anthropomorphized, my AI interface to the point where I was getting angry with it for daring to question my comedic instincts.
Do you do that though with Claude a lot, or with any sort of AI or GPT or something? I mean,
interact it like
when I'm asking a question, I'll be like, "Good morning, Claude."
Of course.
Even asking how's things. Yeah, I mean, I may have done that once and realized that's insane. Don't do that.
Could you please?
Yeah,
do this
I'll always
me?
close that with a please or a thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll make the
it's like that. It's like that meme, right? That's been going around about when Skynet takes over and the robots are shoving us to the death camps.
He was nice. He said thank you.
Yeah, he said please. He said thank you. But it is interesting, right? Because that's what the film is hitting a lot on. Is like there is this element of we will accept it into our lives and we will definitely exploit it to our benefit. But the minute it pushes back or says something we don't like, then we can disconnect from it being anything that has any autonomy or sentience.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see that in the character of David, played by Haley Joel Osment, who is this robot boy that, it's initially programmed to be kind of like a pet or a companion or something like that. But one of the major plot points is that if you read a series of words or a series of commands, it will imprint on you and it will love you forever.
Elise, while we're talking, could you look up what the activation words for David in AI are? I'd like to examine those.
Because this is
written by Kubrick, I believe.
I believe so. It feels very Kubrickian, doesn't it? Even though this is I imagine there were many fingers in this pie, but the screenplay is credited to Spielberg alone. This is a semi-rare kind of occurrence. I mean, he wrote the screenplay for Close Encounters. He wrote the story for Disclosure Day, and David Koepp wrote the screenplay. But you don't see his name on screenplays all that often. And I think we tend to view him more as a director than a writer. But there's lines in this that are kind of like, I mean, I actually wrote this on Twitter when I was watching this yesterday. There's a bit where David is abandoned by the mother that he's imprinted on. Frances O'Connor. Marvelous. She's really good in this.
Did you have a moment where you were like, why isn't Frances O'Connor a bigger star? And then I looked at it, she's doing fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't need my endorsement. But it almost felt like, she had that run. She did that Jane Austen movie and she's in this. And we had the same manager at the time in the States. It was an Australian guy, but he'd set up a management company. And I remember him saying to me that after she did AI, she got offers from everyone, but she wanted to go do theater in New York. And he was like, please, please don't do theater in New York. Like, just go have those meetings with David Fincher or whatever. But she felt like, oh no, this is something I really want to do, for better or worse. Like, I'm not judging her career, but she is so good in this.
Oh yeah.
And so luminous, and you know, because she's got to epitomize like maternal qualities, because David has to long for her affection for the entire film. And so that balancing act of exuding this warmth and just being like, you know, the greatest archetype of motherhood, but also just being fucking cold-hearted,
being kind of a shitty parent,
to just abandon this kid in the woods. Like, it's an amazing scene.
And there's a bit in there in that abandonment scene where Haley Joel Osment says, "I'm sorry, I'm not real. If you let me, I'll be so real for you." I had to stop the movie for a second. It's like, both that line is so great and the way Osment delivered it is so good. I want to go, if not long,
go
on Osment, maybe deep on Osment. Holy moly! I mean, we talked about in our previous episode how about, is there any better director of young actors, child actors than Spielberg? And you look at Henry Thomas in E.T., and Drew Barrymore and Robert McNaughton as well. You look at Christian Bale in Empire of the Sun, which is an incredible performance. I would say that this is the best child performance in a Spielberg movie, and it's also one of the best child performances ever. Full stop. It is remarkable. I mean, just the extent of his emotional range and access, but also combined with this incredible technical virtuosity.
Doesn't blink.
Yeah, you hear about how he basically says, I program myself to act this way. I mean, and it's not just the blinking, but also, just the physical movement of it.
You know what I think is the most telling part of it is, before David is activated, and I have the words here, Cirrus, Socrates, Particle, Decibel, Hurricane, Dolphin, Tulip. They are the words to activate David.
Okay, then.
But prior to him being activated, the subtlety in his performance as, I guess, like the factory settings David.
Factory settings is great.
To child David is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so good. And like to think that a child actor has that grasp on the levels of performance, the emotional openness, because it's incredible. It's like two different performances.
Oh my God, yeah. And I mean, sorry to use a wanky actor term, and you're an actor, you may say no one actually uses that term, guy, but this control of the instrument in that. I mean, when he has those words read to him and he becomes David, the quote unquote real boy, even though he's not a real boy, you see the face change. You see the face become human.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow. That is just wild. And he sustains that all through the movie. It's really, really good. Now, if I'm going to sing the praise of Haley Joel Osment, I also want to sing the praise of Jude Law, who I think might go unsung, because, Osment is so good and he is the center of the film. What Jude Law is doing in this is amazing.
Felix the cat. That's what he is. He's Bugs Bunny. He's Felix the cat. He's just like skipping his way through these scenes, but with this real gravitas, right? Like there is a sadness to Gigolo Joe. Like he knows what he is, but it's kind of the layers of that performance is having this kind of sense of like, I don't know, it's almost like despair, but the programming is to be
cheerful and
seductive.
Seductive,
yeah. No, it's a brilliant performance. It's interesting, right? Like Jude Law, he was a big star. Like, you had Talented Mr. Ripley that really sort of established him.
Well, it's funny. You're coming off 1999 when two of the Oscar nominees for Best Supporting Actor were Jude Law for Talented Mr. Ripley and Haley Joel Osment for Sixth Sense. And here they are starring in this movie and giving performances are probably better than the ones they did in those nominated movies, and didn't get nominated for these.
No, and also one of the best, and it's often underrated, but the physical performance, like the way he is so fluid. It's almost like a dancer's performance in some parts. Like he literally does dance in parts of the film, but the way he just sort of glides in and out of scenes, because like you say, he has to be, Gigolo Joe, who is the most charming, seductive man on the planet, but he also has to be an android.
Yeah.
So like, it's hard, right? Because you'd think that, from an acting point of view, to go into that performance, you're like, well, the way I would seduce someone is to be the most human and available I can be, but he's not.
No.
It's weird. It's like a real fine line where it's like I'm the idea or the ideal of what a seductive man would be, but I'm holding a little bit back.
I'm a sexual product,
yes,
essentially. Yeah,
he's a vibrator.
Yeah, he is. He is. But there's one little bit, I think, when he is meeting a client or something. I think it's actually before he meets the client who gets murdered. Spoilers for AI. That's a tough little scene, by the way. By the way, that guy who actually murdered his wife and framed Joe for it is, you know, this guy Enrico Colantoni.
Yeah, what's he from?
He's from Galaxy Quest.
Oh, right.
He's the head alien in Galaxy Quest, but he was on Just Shoot Me, and he's been to a bunch of stuff. He's a terrific actor. He was Veronica Mars's dad.
Right.
There's a little bit that Lord does when he shows up at the hotel, and he says, "Someone's waiting for me in room," and he does a little hand gesture like 102.
Yes.
I was like, was that a Jude Law bit? Did he suggest that, or did Spielberg suggest that? Was it in the script that he does that? I don't know why it affected me so much, but it's like, that's so
even the little
cool.
The head nod he does to
turn on his mood music.
Yeah.
Jude Law, fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a lot of talk about, oh, so-and-so is a character actor in a movie star's body. They talk about Brad Pitt that way a lot. They mean Jude Law when they say that, because you look at what he does here. It's like, this is a legitimately good, sorry, I'm lost for words, legitimately good acting performance with leading man star wattage attached to it. It's amazing.
And I think the costume design, the makeup team, all of it is so good because it does not look dated. Like there's a you know, if you look at Demolition Man, for instance, it's like, oh God, it's like they're all wearing costumes, whereas this feels like it's a very credible vision of the future. The fashion isn't so different that it looks like costumey like Demolition Man. It looks real.
It's got that sort of understated thing that we have now, that very Scandi IKEA kind of deal.
Yes, boho chic.
Yeah. The house that Frances O'Connor and her husband Sam Robards.
Yeah, is that?
Sam Robards is the son of Lauren Bacall and Jason
Robards, right?
Yeah. He's a character guy. He's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Fandango. But yeah, he's just a guy who sort of like is just a good supporting guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, Spielberg
and a
saying,
real prick of a bloke.
Well, yeah, in this, absolutely. But then if you think about it more and more, it's like,
he's just protecting his family.
He's protecting his kid. We don't know we've seen the circumstances behind David grabbing their actual son and falling into the pool and holding him so he can't, And this is a family who have thought they'd lost that child. Of course, they're going to react in an extreme way.
Yeah.
So,
what a little bastard that kid is.
I was thinking about this when I was watching AI. We've just, waxed Haley Joel Osment's car a whole lot when it comes to his performance and that. Did they hire an actor to play the quote-unquote real son who was not as good? Now, was this part of the plan?
Oh, I don't think he's not as good.
He's more an obvious demonstrative actor. Haley Joel Osment is locked in. He is playing this character. He is living this character. The kid playing Martin, their real son, he's like, you just came from an audition for the Disney Channel.
I don't know, man. I think your dislike of Martin, the character, is leaking over. And I think
that could well.
I think there's a Joffrey syndrome going on here. I think you don't like the character enough that because I think the kid, he does exactly what he's meant to do, which is just to be this spoilt little snot-nosed brat.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it part of the plan, or is it a fly in the way?
I mean, you're right. Maybe the kid the actor, and forgive me, Martin, I don't know your name.
I think his name is Jake Thomas.
Okay,
Shout out to Jake Thomas. Sorry, kid.
But
who is now 40-something.
Can beat us up. Potentially, Jake came into the room and was just a precocious kid who just rubbed the casting director the wrong way and just exuded that energy.
Quite possibly,
naturally. So you're right. Yeah, in terms of that might be his personality.
Yeah.
I hope not. I think he's a totally unlikable kid.
That's true. But rewinding a little bit, the house that they live in is very much furnished by, if not IKEA, then like the really high-end version of IKEA. It's got, the bland, neutral tones. They're sort of dressed that way as well. And, you find that with the sort of the minimalist chic that supposedly a lot of your billionaires and now trillionaires are wearing.
Yeah, that's right. And they're going off to the opera, at night and that kind of stuff. So there is this real sense of like disconnect, that they are the playthings of the sort of rich and oblivious, these androids.
Well, yeah, and there's a bit of a contrast when you go to the Flesh Fair, which feels more like a demolition derby or a NASCAR rally or something. Like there's what the blue collar folks are doing while Sam and Francis are going off to the opera.
Genuinely fantastic sequence. Everything from like the junkyard through to the Flesh Fair is just Spielberg in top form. Like it is the spectacle of like, wow, these weirdo androids and stuff with the emotional, trauma of this kid. Like, I think there's some elements of like Schindler's List, which is blending into this, like this idea of being sort of rounded up and persecuted.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, that makes a bunch of sense.
It's definitely in there. Like, the hiding from the Flesh Fair, like Brendan Gleeson's gang, whatever you call them. I don't quite understand the symbolism of the moon being hot. Did you get that?
Me neither.
Amblin, because I'm like, it's the Amblin logo. Like Fear the Moon. I didn't know what the subtext of that was.
I'm not well versed in Pinocchio enough to know if that plays a part, because Pinocchio plays a big role in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, could just be an Amblin shout out. Who knows?
But that sequence is so good and so genuinely horrifying. It's a bit like when the remakes of the new Planet of the Apes films came out, starting with the James Franco one.
Oh yeah,
I was like, there is a whole subset of science fiction, isn't there, which is like humans suck.
Oh yeah,
where you just identify with the non-humans, and this is one of those sequences like, we are terrible, we're disgusting, we are.
And so I mean, there are varying degrees of coldness and callousness from pretty much all the humans throughout this. I mean, even William Hurt's character, who's the creator of the David bot,
who is based on his own.
Yes, yeah, a whole lot of pictures of William Hurt and Haley Joel Osment. It's like, oh, these are father and son. Yeah, he's benevolent, but also, and he's trying to sort of, when David's saying, I'm real, I'm special, I'm unique, he's like, well, you're not one of a kind, but you're the first of a kind. He's like, yeah, you're still viewing this as a product or something, as a creation, as opposed to something that's got sentience or something that's got sensitivity or whatever. And it ranges all the way through from the coldness that David's parents show through to the absolute destructiveness of these people at the Flesh Fair. Although they sort of come around to David's way of thinking when he says, I'm a real boy, and they start throwing shit at Brendan Gleeson saying, let him go.
Yeah, that is the one heartening, or the one good thing that humans do.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the entire film.
Can I give a quick shout out to William Hurt as well? I'm just big upping a lot of actors here, but William Hurt was such a unique presence in American film, wasn't he? I mean,
leading man who went into character acting.
Yeah, because he's not quite. When I think of leading men, I think of either likes of De Niro and Pacino, very intense, methody guys, or sort of golden boys like Paul Newman and Robert Redford. William Hurt's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
he's sort of like the Ben.
He's the waspish guy with the darker edge.
Yeah. He's not quite as intense as Pacino or De Niro, but and you wouldn't call on him to do that kind of thing. But
no,
but he conveyed intelligence just about as well as anybody in that era.
It's surprising that he never. I mean, maybe he did, but he didn't enter that villain era, like the sort of Jeremy Irons. Like he could have been a Euro trash villain at some point.
Sure could have. Yeah.
He has that kind of a waspish kind of quality, but he never really entered into that kind of phase.
No, I think the closest he came to that was probably in Cronenberg's movie A History of Violence.
Yeah, right.
Which, look, making a tenuous connection. It's not even really a connection, but I mentioned before about that scene where Haley Joel Osment gets activated and his face changes to human. Viggo Mortensen does something very, very similar in The History of Violence. It's something I'm always astonished by actors. It's like you've shown me a fantastic card trick. Mortensen does it as well when someone the mask comes off of this nice guy persona that he's taken on, and you see the cold-blooded mobster underneath. Mortensen does it just with change in facial expression. I'm like, what am I seeing here? This is wild. There's
a great clip of, you've probably seen it, of Christopher Reeve that went round, which is Christopher Reeve playing Clark Kent and Superman in the same thing.
Changing his
posture.
Like, what? Acting, man.
It's so
you guys are magicians.
It's so good. All right, anything left to say about AI?
Well, there's a lot, really. I mean, because...
Vinny Chase has a cameo?
Yeah, a lot of cameos in this. I mean...
Robin Williams,
Robin Williams, the voice of the Blue Fairy at the end is Meryl Streep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think the voice of the AI that is sort of walking David through their process of like, we want to understand, we've got so much respect for humans. Look at all this wonderful stuff they did. We're trying to resurrect them. Our experiment didn't work. If we've got DNA, we can bring people back for one day. And that leads to the climax of the movie. And I think that's Ben Kingsley doing that voice.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Spielberg calling in a few favors, or, hey, we had a good time on Schindler's List. Come and,
Did this do well?
I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to remember the budget. I think the budget was something shy of 100 mil, which is a lot for the early 2000s. I think it made something like 260 worldwide.
I'm going to double check that on Box Office Mojo.
Yeah. We're getting the nod
because this is right. Okay, here we go.
Maybe even less than 100 million.
Why is this opening? Here we go. Artificial intelligence opening. So budget was 100 mil.
Mm-hmm.
What was its total gross? Domestic only 78 and 157 worldwide. So probably no. Yeah,
because you've got to make 2.5 back, don't you? Or something, yeah.
So it ended up making 235 million worldwide. So not a success. I mean, not a failure, a break even, which kind of makes sense because it's rated PG, which I feel is like,
that's strange to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking many kids to see that. That scene with the spinach eating competition, which if you haven't seen the film might sound bizarre, but is so upsetting. Like, and the way it ends is perfect. But the whole sequence is just like that feels like I thought that'll be Kubrick. No, apparently that's Spielberg. That's just a real weird scene.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of shout outs to Kubrick in this as well. I mean, I think certainly when they're going to Rouge City, which is sort of like, I guess it's meant to be like Vegas or something, a cross between Vegas and, I don't know, where do you go to get laid in America? I don't know.
Not sure.
Sin City, essentially.
Sin City, yes.
There's bits in there, it's like, oh, this looks like, the milk bar from A Clockwork Orange or something like that. So whether that's Spielberg paying, tribute to his friend and mentor.
Sorry to jump in. There is one Spielberg connection.
Yeah.
The original choice for David was Joseph Mazzello from Jurassic Park.
I don't know if it was a choice or they actually filmed
screen tested it.
They did footage to sort of like we can integrate CG with this, and I think they used Joseph Mazzello for that. Sorry, Kim.
Yeah, right. What about the T-Rex? Was he? Did he get called in for the casting? All right, let's move on. 2 years later, or 1 year later? 1 year later.
It's a year later.
1 year later, Minority Report, the first teaming up of Steven Spielberg and Tom Cruise. The two probably biggest icons from the 80s come together for the first time.
Pretty wild.
Very wild.
I think we were kind of looking forward to this one. And for mine, it delivered. I'm a big fan of Minority Report.
So good, like that. This, in terms of like just a chase film, like the tension never letting up. This is really good. The one thing that I think dates this more than anything is the aesthetic. It's that desaturated,
the whole
cool
Janusz
blue.
Kaminski. You see it bleeding into AI. It's into artificial intelligence.
So ugly. Like, it's funny. It came to Australia. Like, they called it the Melbourne aesthetic for a while after Animal Kingdom came out.
Okay.
Because Animal Kingdom had that, and it was very trendy for a while to sap all the color out of everything. And look, I understand it's a stylistic choice, but it's so fucking ugly. Like,
it is.
As a cinematic experience, everything just feels cold and gritty, and the grain of the film, because I'm assuming this was still shot in 35 back in 2002. Like, that's the one thing that I think dates it. But Tom Cruise is always at his best when he's exasperated.
Oh, yeah. Appears to have everything under control, incredibly confident, incredibly poised. Then all of a sudden, shit just goes off the rails. And he has to contend with it, but also get increasingly, flustered or frustrated or, unraveled.
Yeah, okay. So quick plot summary. So in the future, there is no crime because there are 3 precogs who are psychics. These 2 brothers and a sister who float in a swimming pool, and they see crime before it happens, and so they let the cops of the pre-crime unit know about that, and they go out and they stop the crime happening before it does. Tom Cruise, however, who's the leader of the pre-crime unit, he gets implicated in a murder that is about to happen. So it's him trying to stop the murder. But is it predetermined? Can he stop it or not? Is
Free
it
will
real
versus
or not?
determinism. In a futuristic setting.
I did a screenwriting class once where we were given the original script of this, and then the rewrite by Scott Frank, and
my hero.
And it is such a difference, like the amount of depth and layers that he added to the script. Initially, it was much more. It was, I think it started with him on the run. I just remember there was not a lot of there was none of the character development around his son dying and him being a drug addict and all this kind of stuff. So what I love about this film is like that cliche about Tom Cruise running. You ain't going to get better running than in Minority Report. And there's so many inventive sequences. Like, that's the other thing about Spielberg. Like, we'll get to Disclosure Day, but there is a sequence in Disclosure Day, like a big chase set piece that I was like, okay. And then I went back and watched Minority Report, and even the jetpack run from the cops is so inventive and so clever and so innovative. Like there's so much about it that's like, oh, this is cool. Like Spielberg is trying something that hasn't been put on film before.
Yeah, or sort of the main first confrontation / fight between Cruise and Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
taking place in this automated
automotive. The Lexus factory. A little bit of product placement, we might say. It's 2002. No, Spielberg took a bit of juice.
These movies don't pay for themselves.
No.
But first of all, who would think to do it that way? Then when you've got that kind of setup, then what can we do with this? And they clearly come up with some inventive stuff. I tend to think of that as like, oh wow, that's kind of, if not legendary, it's like, that's pretty memorable.
Yeah.
Maybe some people will just go, oh yeah, that's part of Minority Report.
I feel like maybe Spielberg, because it had been a while since he'd come back to this genre, I think he maybe was feeling a bit of the heat from like The Matrix and maybe the Men in Black films, because I do see, like there's that concussion gun, the sort of
that's right
lever loading concussion gun. And I'm like, that's from Men in Black. Like that feels like a leftover prop from Men in Black.
Well, apparently he really did his research on this in terms of like what kind of, not just what kind of weapons, but what will we have in the future, in place of, in terms of everyday use, and what are some innovations that might actually occur. And he's going to places like DARPA and things like that, say, oh, well, 20 years from now, we won't have guns. We'll have these things that act as, and it's not pepper spray, it's more like an incapacitator. Side effect is it makes you vomit or whatever. But, you look at this and there's, personalized marketing or...
Yeah.
It's dated, but not...
Mr. Yakamoto.
Yeah. Someone's reading like a newspaper that's basically like a tablet, but it's like the size of a tabloid newspaper, and the news is always changing on it because things are getting updated.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it's Cameron Crowe's actually reading it.
Yes.
There's cameos by Cameron Crowe and Cameron Diaz in this.
Where's Cameron Diaz?
Cameron Diaz is, I think, on that subway as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so maybe...
What is she doing there?
I don't know.
What's her relation to Spielberg?
Well, let's see. I mean, they were... Well...
Probably shooting
Had
in the
Cruise
next
just
studio.
made Vanilla Sky?
Ah, right. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. He's like, come on over for the day, hang out.
I'm auditioning for Wives.
Oh, yeah, this is the whole in-between here, isn't it?
That's right. Between Kidman and Holmes.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say, just to backtrack a little bit, I know we're talking about Minority Report and AI, not AI now, but when AI came out, I won't say the world had Kubrick fever, but I mean, it had been only a few years since Eyes Wide Shut, which had been his first film in more than a decade. That's a movie starring Tom and Nicole, this very strange and sexy thing that had been going on for goodness knows how long. Then Kubrick dies on top of that. So, for AI to be sort of like his coda, his last thing, the last thing that would go out in the world with Kubrick's name on it, I think is pretty interesting. But going back to Minority Report, apparently Spielberg was very much... Let's try to make this as realistic as possible, even if it is, it's science fiction, but it could be science fact.
We'll keep it as realistic as possible until he goes to that garden by the woman, who
that's true,
who brought up Agatha, and it's like, hang on, so there's like plants are sentient now, and like that's the one bit I'm like, I don't understand why this element is in the film.
I know, but that's part of the
genetic
appeal.
Modification.
I think so.
I guess
it's part of the appeal of it for me is that there's so much weird stuff in this.
Is there?
I think so. You look at, the log line for this, and it's basically cop falsely accused of a crime must go on the run to clear his name. It's like, well, been there, done that. But it's great when you do it well, though. But then within this, Tom Cruise is getting an eye transplant.
That's awesome. Great sequence.
Yeah. And then he drops the eyes and he has to go run after that whole thing with Lois Smith and the green hat, this terrific actor, Lois Smith.
Yeah.
And she's giving a strange performance. She's coming on to Cruise.
Gives him a big pash.
Gives him a big pash. It's like, I didn't expect this from my
You're
Spielberg
right.
Cruise Man on the Run future thriller.
I mean, it's kind of like Children. It has this bit of Children of Men element to it
Sure.
as well. I mean, she's a bit like the Michael Caine character in Children of Men. So yeah, I guess maybe it was just in the zeitgeist at the time.
And even just the whole concept of like, we've got these 3 mutants who can tell the future, and they sort of simmer in milk baths.
Yeah.
You know, you've got this one guy who's looking after them who seems to have a weird, kinky relationship with at least the Samantha Morton version of them.
It's funny too. Like you really. It was only on this viewing that I really kind of took in. There's a line of dialogue where one of the characters explains, "Do you know how awful their existence is? Like." From, as young as they can remember, they've been seeing visions of the most horrific crimes ever, and that's all they see. That is the existence they live in. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
It's
terrible.
I would want to be sedated in a pool of milk as well.
Sure.
If that meant I didn't have to put up with that.
I'd like to go back to what you were saying earlier about the rewrite of the script by Scott Frank and how, it's really, really smart you've got the inciting incident, not the inciting incident, but you've got the incident that sort of sets up what the pre-crime unit does with this guy who, he suspects his wife
Who
as being
is that actor?
That's Ari Gross.
Is he from Teen Wolf?
He's from Soul Man, which you like to bring up every once in a while. I had a lot of stock in Ari Gross when I saw Soul Man. I'm like, I like this guy. He's really good. He's
not Styles from Teen Wolf as well, is he?
No.
Okay.
But he's playing this husband who suspects his wife is being unfaithful, and when she's in bed with a lover, he comes back to murder her. But the precogs have seen it. Tom Cruise and his crew rock up to bust him. That's what they do, and this is what Tom Cruise does as part of that. But then there's this whole bit of exposition where Colin Farrell's like the Treasury guy or the Justice Department guy who comes in and says, "We're not sure about what you guys do here." And Cruise has to sort of walk him through it and says, "Well, this is how it works, and this is why it works, and this is why we do it." And it's like, oh, okay, so this is how the system works. It's exposition, but it's done so well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good exposition is normally done with tension, like what is actually going on.
Yeah. Done in conjunction with action. Yeah.
Colin Farrell, I'm not sure in this film. Like, it's a bit like Martin, the son from AI.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's his character is irritating, therefore I find him irritating, or if Colin Farrell's performance is something, I don't know. Like, occasionally you find a non-American actor doing an American accent, and it's just a little too, like, it's like when Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy does a Brooklyn accent no matter what character he's playing. And there's just a bit of gum chewing, like, I don't know if he's doing a New York accent or what it is, but there's just something about it that just it's just a little too mannered. I think Colin Farrell's a fantastic actor. I like him in a lot of stuff, but there's just something about this part. And it's also the style. I don't like his hair. I don't like his suit. I don't like his little mustache and beard.
I kind of like all of those things, I've got to say. Yeah, this is very early Farrell as well. Yeah,
it's an aesthetic thing.
It's early Farrell, I think, because...
Holding his own, too.
Yeah,
against biggest movie star in the world.
Because he was in Timberland,
Tigerland.
Timberland. He was wearing Timberlands in Tigerland.
He was well into his star era by the time this comes out.
You think? I thought this was only like a year or so after.
Isn't it? Well, there's another film in between Tigerland and this. What is it?
It's not the one where he plays Jesse James, is it? Because he did some shitty Western with the guy from Suits.
I can't remember. Okay, so this is his star maker.
I think it's an announcement. It's like, this guy's good. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Because I think Matt Damon was initially the first choice for this. And then...
Oh, that's interesting. Because the part of my issue, I think, is he feels too young. And, like, I feel like if he's a good, Javert to Tom Cruise's Jean Valjean, that maybe they should be equal status. But he feels like a kid.
That's true. But then maybe this...
Maybe that's the point.
Yeah, that Cruise is a little sort of baked into the system at this stage, and you need some fresh blood to say, you might be doing this wrong.
And I guess that's part of the dynamic is he comes in, is like, you are now reporting to me. It's like this little snot-nosed
this punk
with his perfect hair and his perfect little beard and mustache. So maybe that's the
You're really got to think against Farrell's grooming in this. It's interesting. It's a good dynamic between those two, though, I think. I mean, that's nicely combative.
And a nice switch of the character. It's I guess it's almost like the Ed Exley, Bud, what's his name? Bud
White? Yeah.
Yeah, Bud White combination.
So Guy Pearce would have been great. Guy Pearce would have been really good as, is it Whitwer? Danny Whitwer, I think is the Colin Farrell's name. Yeah. Yeah, that feels like a real Pierce part, doesn't it?
It does. He could definitely have played that part. You mentioned Peter Stormare before.
Are we pronouncing it correctly? Because
Stormare?
I was always putting a bit of
Canvas.
Italian spin on it, like Stomare, and it's like, no, he's Scandinavian.
I always thought it was Stormare.
Yeah,
Okay.
Stormare. Has there been a better on-screen scumbag than him?
He's so unusual.
He's so unusual, but like this is almost the perfect encapsulation of everything about him. It's just the kind of Eurotrash vibe, the snot.
Yeah,
everything about him is grubby.
Yeah, it's like you don't take care of yourself.
Like, is it Constantine where he plays
the best Satan?
Yeah, the shoeless Satan.
Yeah, covered in tar.
Yeah.
Oh, he's wonderful.
But everything about him is just kind of creepy and weird. Because I was watching this going like, is there a better scumbag? And I'm like, William Fichtner is probably my other great modern day scumbag, but a different guy. He's more of your sort of like serial killer, sociopath scumbag.
It's almost like you had a foreign exchange thing. It's like you sent Fichtner over to Scandinavia and we got Stormare for a little while because they both give off this vibe. And I think Fichtner does this very explicitly in Go, where you're having a really great time with these people and all of a sudden they're like, oh, you're swingers and you want me to be the third? Don't know about that. Or you meet Stormare at like a seedy bar or something. It's like, oh, yeah, throw this drink of my nation. It is wonderful. And next thing you know, you wake out minus a kidney or something.
Yeah, that's right.
You're having the best time and then all of a sudden things just get weird.
Yeah.
He's great in it. Yeah.
Great. Just one scene, two scenes, and so memorable. Did you wonder though, like why is it just for tension that they set up that, oh, you actually sent me to jail? And but then they don't follow through on it. I was like, oh, okay, it's the Brecht, the gun. Who's the don't show a gun unless you're going to use it.
Oh, Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun.
The gun in the
It's
first
like,
act goes off
you've
in the third.
mentioned that this doctor has an issue with Tom Cruise, but then nothing comes of it.
That's right. Yeah. Spielberg, of course, has a lot of juice at this stage. Well, but ongoing for about 2 decades at this stage. But there's parts of this that feel like sort of meddling or compromising. Mm-hmm. You've had some people who say, oh, because this is based on a Philip K. Dick story, right? Yeah, and it's almost like the Total Recall thing where it's like, is everything that happens in the third act or the second half of the third act of Minority Report Cruise's fantasy after he's been imprisoned? They put the halo on him. It's like, because do they say in Minority Report, it's like, oh, yeah, we put him in this jail, but it's like they're dreaming. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, this is Cruise's dream that he's like, no, I bust out and I'm legit and I get to save the day and rescue these precogs and the bad guy gets his comeuppance and all that. I don't know, maybe that's the case, but
I had not even considered that, but yes, of course, that interpretation.
Yeah, because there's the same feeling in Total Recall. Yes. It's like, oh yeah, is the back half of this just Arnold's fantasy? Isn't
Max von Sydow an interesting actor, and that he's appeared to be 70 years old for about 40 years? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
because I was looking at this and going, I've seen him play the same age over 3 different decades, from The Exorcist to Judge Dredd to this film. He's always looked the same age. How is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that the makeup that Dick Smith did in The Exorcist is so good because, Father Merrin is meant to be older than he is. Yeah. In the early parts of The Exorcist, do you see him as a younger person or? I don't know. No, I think it's, he's meant to be old all the way through, but he always had that kind of gravitas.
Yeah.
Went through I'm still going through a very pretentious phase, but I went through a pretentious phase. I was like, I should watch some Ingmar Bergman. It's like, I was settling down to do my homework. And then you watch some of Bergman's films, like his most famous stuff. It's like, wow, this is really avant-garde. Like Persona is like punk rock. It's wild. But watching The Seventh Seal, which in which von Sydow was the lead, it's like, oh, yeah, you were this strapping Nordic specimen. You were young once, but you tend to think of him as like the elder statesman.
As an old man forever.
You do, yeah.
But he's just got such a brilliant face and he's so good. It's almost like Christopher Plummer in a way. Like they just have that gravitas where, you could install them in any position of authority and you'd buy it straight away.
Indeed. And spoilers for Minority Report, Max von Sydow turns out to be the bad guy. Sydow.
I don't know. Let's not.
Max. Turns out to be the bad guy, but he's got that wonderful avuncular and authoritative presence where it's kind of like, well, you're not going to steer me the wrong way. And even when it's revealed that he's the bad guy, it's like, I was doing it for the greater good. It's like, Max got a point.
Yeah.
He doesn't really, but he's very good in this.
They're great. We talked about the spider sequence, the eyeball transplant sequence. Apparently, and this is the trivia I read, so the spiders come in looking for Tom Cruise. He's hiding in the bathtub filled with ice to lower his body temperature. The spider's almost out the door, and then a single bubble from Tom Cruise's nose alerts the spider. The rumor is that they're going to do that with CGI, but Tom Cruise, being the ultra professional he is,
I can do it.
I can do it. I can eke out a single bubble from my nostril, and they did, and it's brilliant.
I wonder how many of these stories are bullshit, because I heard a similar thing about, it might have been Anne Hathaway.
Right.
And there was like a scene where she had to, like, there was a single tear. It's like, we can CG that, or we'll give you something and it'll just result in one single teardrop. She said, no, I can do it. And she's like, but she was
She's
also
like, I'm the anti-Steve McQueen.
Yeah. And she was like, which eye would you like it out of?
Fuck off.
No, can't believe it. Love Anne Hathaway, but no, that's bullshit.
So I got a couple more bits of trivia here. So the three precogs, Agatha, Arthur, and Dashiell. You know why?
Dashiell, yeah, because they're named after crime novelists,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah,
That's
Arthur, Agatha Christie, Arthur Conan Doyle, and Dashiell Hammett.
Tom Cruise and Spielberg both waived their salaries for this film to keep it under $100 million, which seems like a bargain.
It
by
really
today's
does.
day and age. For that kind of film, under $100 million.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, I mean, there's the freeway chase, the magnetized freeway chase that, it feels like a major set piece and feels very, it feels very early 2000 CG, but also feels very ambitious, doesn't it?
And this is sort of more a tease for next week's episode when we talk about War of the Worlds. But this was the start of Tom Cruise and Spielberg's relationship, which was to end.
An unfortunately short-lived relationship. But having said that, there was footage a while back, a couple of years ago now, when Top Gun Maverick was released. And you see there, I've forgotten what event it was, but you see them Spielberg hugging and Spielberg basically, you saved the movies, Tom. It's like, oh, all is forgiven, maybe.
But you couldn't think of a better pairing, right? Like it sort of makes sense. Like the biggest blockbuster guy of the 80s and the guy who invented the blockbuster.
The two 800-pound gorillas.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also because Cruise is such a technician himself and is such a fan of cinema, and he knows lenses and he knows camera moves and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Jay Moores tell a story about when that scene in Jerry Maguire where Jerry's getting let go by Jay Moore? No. And he said that he didn't realize he was out of frame. And Tom Cruise, while doing the scene with him, is like giving him hand signals to say, like, move your head in closer without stopping the scene at all. So,
oh my God.
So Jay Moore's like, I'm there doing my lines, but I've got Tom Cruise like coaching me, literally like head down, move in, come in a bit closer.
That's so wild. Yeah. I don't know if I've talked about it on the video still before, but there's that whole thing with Glenn Powell, who was Cruise's co-star in Top Gun Maverick. I think Powell basically sort of not glommed onto Cruise, but he's kind of like, I want your career. How do I do it?
Yeah.
And I think Cruise basically hired a theater and he showed him like a movie that Cruise had made, like an instructional video. I was like, this is what you need to know about cameras. This is what you need to know about lenses. This is what you need to know about angles. This is what you need to know about lighting. If you want to be, seen in this particular way, then you position yourself like this. Like a crash course in how to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
I mean, you can definitely get a sense of it. Like he is a professional movie star. And the fact that, like, we've talked about this on Tofop a lot, which is the way that Tom Cruise, he was, I mean, and we'll get to it when we talk about War of the Worlds, but there was a period of time where he was persona non grata. Like the world turned on Tom Cruise. And he won us back, and all he had to do was endanger his life
again and again.
But you do understand that this is a guy that's why they call him the last real movie star, because he understands like what spectacle is and how to give the fans what they want.
Yeah, but this is also in a very interesting phase of Cruise's career as well, which I think probably started in the late 90s when he was. I mean, he's always sought out A-list filmmakers to work with. But he was also looking at auteurs and also looking at really challenging roles. I mean, this is around the time of Magnolia. This is Eyes Wide Shut, Vanilla Sky with Crow. And maybe it started with Jerry Maguire, in all honesty. But I mean, I think Cruise always viewed himself as like an all-round leading man. It's like, I can do romance, I can do comedy, I can do action, I can do all this kind of stuff. But yeah, this was a phase when he's like, I might push myself. I've earned enough goodwill that I can push myself as an actor a bit as well. And the character of Anderton in Minority Report, part of him is this straight up, action hero cop.
Yeah.
But he's also a drug addicted, grieving father.
Yeah.
Who is tormented in a lot of ways, and Cruise also conveys that.
Yeah. Couple of things.
Yeah.
The sequence where after the eye operation where he eats the rotten sandwich and drinks the milk, disgusting. One of the most viscerally repulsive scenes in cinema. But I have a question about the device that makes his face go all rubbery, when he's got to go back into the Minority Report headquarters and he injects himself. Just wouldn't a fake mustache be just as effective and less painful? Like, he doesn't look that different. He still looks like John Anderton.
How about a wig?
Yeah, I mean, what is the point of that technology? Extremely painful from the looks of things.
Yeah.
And just makes you look a bit wrinkly. I just reckon a fake mustache, a Groucho Marx mustache, would have done the job just as effectively.
I don't know. I get the feeling that Spielberg at this time was really interested in the organic, and sort of where technology meets humanity.
Yeah, but that's the most Tom Cruise looking prosthetic I've ever
Most
seen.
alias.
I mean, you mentioned Vanilla Sky. That's if you're going to change your appearance to Vanilla Sky, you don't just make Tom Cruise but wrinkly. All right, that is episode 2 of the Steven Spielberg sci-fi era. We'll be back again next week discussing A War of the Worlds and Ready Player One, of which I have
thoughts,
many thoughts. And then we'll be finishing up in episode 4, talking about Disclosure Day and wrapping up the whole series. But Guy, you do another podcast. Want to tell people what it's about?
Sure do. I do a podcast called The Movie Guide with Moulton and Davis, where Entertainment Tonight legend Leonard Moulton and I will discuss movies old and new.
And what about Four Finger Discount?
There's also the Four Finger Discount Network. Thank you, Charlie. What a silky segue. Co-host Brendan Dando and I will talk about The Simpsons, about South Park, Seinfeld, King of the Hill, all manner of wonderful 90s shows. Take a warm dip in the nostalgia bath.
All in the show notes. We'll be back again next week, so brush up on War of the Worlds and Ready Player One. I'm Charlie Clausen.
I'm Guy Davis.